You can only have 9 colors for labels. I mean, what is this, 1993? In this episode, we're going to look at 2 productivity apps and get them to fight each other to the death. Not quite to the death, but we're going to see which one's better using bananas instead of points, because this whole thing's pointless anyway. Now, I'm going to try and condense this down into about 5 minutes, maybe 6. Most of the videos on this subject are anything from half an hour to 50 minutes long. We're talking about productivity here. Who's got time to spend 50 minutes watching a video about which app is right for you? I'm also not going to cover all the basic stuff. I'm mainly going to look at it from a usability setting, because I think it's great to look at all the feature sets, but if you're a very visual learner and you like to see things from a visual layout, or if you're a very structural learner, you like to look at things in a linear format, you're gonna need to know that straight away, and that's gonna be almost more important than all the other features that go along with it. Without further ado, let's take a look at these 2 apps and let's have them fight each other. But first, if you're new here, please smash that subscribe button so you get notified about more content on being a multidisciplinary ninja, or a generalist if you like. I don't really believe in specialization. I think that's for insects or for heart surgeons if I have a heart attack. But in most things, I think being a generalist is pretty good. Jack of all trades, master of some. And if you do like this video, do hit that like button, because it tells the algorithm that this video's decent and people like it. Right, let's go exploring. So first up, we've got Trello. I've used Trello for a couple of years. I'm a pretty big fan of Trello. If you've seen any of my other videos, I've got some walkthroughs on it, but it's really been me off the last couple of years because there's some features that just should be there. So I've been looking for other apps, and I've been going on and off for the last couple of years, but I always come back to Trello because it really suits my learning style. And I think many people probably don't know why they like something or dislike it until they understand what their learning style is. Now, I'm going to quickly cover learning styles, but if you're interested in that and I'm not an expert and you want to learn a lot more about it, I'll pop some links down below. But essentially, there are 7 agreed learning styles. Perhaps there's maybe more, and of course, there's lots of overlay, usually not just one learning style. You've probably heard of some of them before, like you're a very visual learner, you like things sort of spatially, and usually sort of creative designery people are visual learners. You've also got people that are linguistic learners. They like to write it to learn it, or they say it to learn it. You've also got people that are kinesthetic learners. They like things that are physical, touch. You've also got oral learners. No, not that kind of oral. Don't have a dirty mind. The oral as in A, not O. People that listen to music or acoustically, that kind of thing. Most people are sort of combination. I'm definitely a combination of a few of those things, and I need sort of a combination of all 3 of them, sort of the spatial thing, the acoustic thing, and sort of the speech thing, to really get things to stay in my brain. Otherwise, they just sort of fall out. So let's kick off and start looking at Trello. Now, I'm going to be grading these on 7 different categories, and I'm going to give them a maximum of 3 bananas per category. If you're quick at maths, that's a total of 21 bananas to give away. Now, I am going to be pretty genuine here. I'm not going to have a preference for Trello because I use it. I'm not a big time fanboy. I will be talking a lot of about Trello. First of all, let's look at the look and feel category of Trello. Now, Trello itself is pretty clean, it's pretty simple looking, and that's one of its best things. It's really nice and easy to look at. It's not complicated, but it can very quickly get complicated if you stuff it with loads of stuff. Now, for those that don't know, Trello is a Kanban board, which essentially means you've got things that are upcoming, doing, and done, but you don't have to do it like that. You can do it any which way you like. It's very flexible. It's really flexible. You can sort of make it do anything. I'm a multidisciplinary professional, or somebody that thinks they can do lots of different things, and for me it works great because one minute I can be doing a film project, I can be setting up my content calendar, designing new strategy projects or new product development, or helping a client with branding. Whatever it is, it's really versatile, and that's one of Trello's greatest strengths. The downside is when you've got hundreds of cards and dozens of lists and at least 5 or 6 boards, it can get really messy and confusing. They are working on it. They've got sort of an enterprise team list view now that's quite good, but for the basic and sort of gold members, the lower plans, it's not that great. And one of Trello's worst things is it's looking really dated now. It looks pretty ugly. When you compare it to some of the newer apps, it just looks old, and they haven't updated it in a while, so that's pretty poor. But overall, I think it looks okay, and it's very serviceable, so that's 2 bananas. Next up, we've got ease of use. this is where it shines. It's incredibly easy to use. For most of the time, most people, they can get Trello pretty quickly. It's pretty easy to understand and comprehend. However, as I said, it can get a bit crazy looking when you've got lots of stuff, and it can feel a little underpowered, a little bit sort of like it's not really doing much. That's not to say it's slow, it's definitely not slow, but it just feels like a bit of a basic car rather than sort of a sports car at times. So overall, I'll give that 2 bananas. Next up, we've got feature set. Now, the basic features in Trello are pretty rubbish. Now, if you're just doing really, really basic stuff like lists and sort of to-dos, that's fine. But if you've got larger projects or sort of sub-projects in there, it's not great. They have this thing called power-ups, but basically it's just extensions or plugins, if you like. And they give you 3 for the free accounts. You get 3 little power-ups. Now, you use those up immediately because you need to add things like a calendar view, because it's just a waste of time if you can't use the calendar view. You need something like custom fields in pretty quickly so that you can sort of customize how the cards look and make it sort of fit your workflow or your industry. And you pretty much add your power-ups really, really quickly. That's a bit crap, really, to be honest. However, the other features are pretty cool. So, for instance, the keyboard shortcuts. the keyboard shortcuts are really good. You feel like a fucking ninja when you learn the keyboard commands. You got windows going up and everywhere like you're in the Matrix. That's pretty awesome. You can use the whole web app just with your keyboard, which is very, very cool. And the automations are splendid. I have got literally dozens of automations going at any one time. So I've got every Monday, I've got a bunch of cards moving into this week. I've got done cards going into sort of the archive list. I've got all sorts of rules set up. I've got buttons customized. So if you press done, it moves it into the complete list and adds a tick and a due date and a happy smiley face. It's brilliant. I love the automations. They're really, really good. But if we're just sort of taking it as a whole, the features are a little bit lacking. Not quite all there. 1 or 2 bananas. 1 or 2. 2 bananas. I give it 2 bananas. Really deserves 1, but we'll go with 2. We'll go with 2 because I like the automation. Next up, we've got the roadmap or update frequency. This is pretty crap. They've got a roadmap, but really no sort of timeline of when stuff's going to happen. I've been submitting feature requests for the last 5 years, and I don't think any of them have even been looked at or responded to. There's ones that people have submitted from sort of 2014, really basic stuff, like the labels, like, you know, have a color picker on there. Why only have 9 colors? What is this? 1993? What's going on? Madness. And sort of no pin, like just you can't pin a card to the top of that. Just really basic, simple stuff that's not hard to implement. And they say, oh, it's for the power users, No, it's just basic features, mate. Get it sorted. So, yeah, the update roadmap is just crap. 1 banana for that. No bananas for that one. Speed, it's really, really quick. That's again one of the great features about Trello. It's really, really fast. You can jump in. It's web app based, so you're in there, you're in your browser. It's quick. Everything loads really fast. There's sort of no delay. Overall, it's pretty good. It's pretty speedy, but it loses at least 1 banana because there's no offline mode. What? I mean, it's so stupid. I use it for everything, right? I mean, there is an offline mode on the app, on the mobile app, but I don't want to get arthritis in my thumbs. It's already on its way. I don't want to accelerate it by having to use the mobile app. There's no desktop app with offline mode. There's a desktop app, but it's basically just a web app enclosure. It's rubbish. So that definitely lose a banana for that. It's crap. I travel a lot. Well, I used to, before COVID came along and ruined my travel plans. I used to travel a lot for work, and I used to live in Amsterdam and travel back to the UK all the time. It was a nightmare. I couldn't use Trello offline at all, so I would have to do other work, and that was rubbish. So really, really disappointing. So 2 bananas for that. 2 bananas for that one. Next up, pricing and plans. I don't really want to cover this because you can find all this online, but they do have a free plan, which is pretty good. And then it's not too expensive to get more team members on there. But if you want power-ups, there's third-party apps that do it, and that can get a bit expensive a bit quickly, so it's a bit rubbish. But overall, the free Trello app is pretty great. That it's free for anyone and everyone, and the basic features are free. So that's pretty cool. So we'll give that 2 bananas. And finally, neurodivergent compatibility, or does it work for you, basically, in simpler terms. If you are a visual learner, if you are a creative, a designer, an artist, or anyone that sort of likes kinesthetic stuff to be able to drag and drop and move things, and it's brilliant. It really, really, really good from that perspective. For me, it's great. However, if you're not a visual learner and you're not kinesthetic and you like sort of mathematics and logical frameworks and rigid linear lists, it's not good for you. It's really not going to work, and that's where it sucks big time, because there isn't really a way that you can change it. Yes, they're developing something for like enterprise class teams, but in the basic feature set, no, you can't really customize it, and that's pretty crap. So for me, it works brilliant, but for lots of other people, it just doesn't work, and that's why a lot of people try Trello and go, it's not for me. So from that perspective, for some, yes, for others, no. I'm gonna have to give it one banana. So that's Trello done. How many bananas was that? 11? 12? Rubbish, who cares? Hardly any bananas at all. Really bad score. Ooh, I'm surprised actually. I thought it would do a little better. No, crap. Oh, what am I using Trello for? So yeah, 12 or 11 bananas out of 21. Crap. Let's move on to Monday.com. Now, aesthetics, look and feel of Monday. What is that? What word is that? I don't know. Lovely. It's got that neomorphic look. It's very modern, very clean, very elegant, lovely looking. It looks now. It looks from now, 2020. Not saying they've jumped on a bandwagon and following design trends, or some of them are there, but it just looks and feels modern and robust. I really like it. Downside is it's got a little bit of an Excel vibe, although a sexy Excel vibe, but a little bit with the cells and stuff. But overall, very, very good. I like it. I'd give that 2 bananas. Next up, we've got ease of use. It's relatively easy to use, although compared to Trello, it's a different app. It's very different. Yes, it's productivity and workflow based, but it just feels completely different to Trello. Trello just feels like it can be so many different things, and it's very basic and simple. But Monday.com, you go, okay, there's a lot going on here. I need to watch a video, I need to read some guides, whereas Trello, you can just jump in. So ease of use, it's easy pretty much once you get going, but there's definitely a learning curve in there. So 2 bananas for that one. Feature set, it blows Trello out the water. It has so many features, jam-packed in, perhaps even a few too many that aren't necessary or don't quite work, but you are not looking for features. It's got everything in there that you really could want. One of my favorites is the automations. They look gorgeous. They are very similar to something like If This Then That or Zapier. They work really, really well. They're really intuitive, light years ahead of the looks and feels of Trello's Butler. I think Butler can do 1 or 2 things more actually, but I just so much preferred using the Monday automations. They were really, really great. It's very team focused. It's really, really great for collaboration. Trello does work for teams and collaboration, but just not as well as Monday.com. It works incredibly well. It's really, really well structured, and it just feels great. It feels really, really good for teams. Now that could be a positive or negative for you. If you are a large team, it's great, but if you're a small individual or 1 or 2 team members, not so much, and it's a little bit off-putting when you're a very small team or just an individual. Overall, very, very good feature set. That's a solid 3 bananas for me. Their update roadmap frequency is very, very good. They don't have a roadmap that I could see though, but they detail everything in their blog. Now Trello do have a blog with stuff, but it's just not as open, as friendly, as sort of small startup-y feel vibe as Monday.com, and I really like that. The developers talked about why they changed to React interface, and that was really, really cool, and how they build it up from the ground up, and all the new features that they're working on. So they're really open and transparent. I love that. 2 bananas. Speed, overall, it's pretty speedy. Again, it's web app. It works as well as your internet connection, and sort of, if you've got a semi-decent processor, your browser's not going to struggle too much. Although if you do have loads of projects open, it can get a little bit sluggish, and I did experience the servers down at one point, but I've been told that that's pretty rare and infrequent. So overall, very, very good, very speedy. I would give that 2 bananas. Next up, we have plans and pricing. This is where Monday.com just falls down. I don't know what they're doing here. If you're an individual, it doesn't feel like it's for you at all because it's a minimum of 3 people to sign up, but they charge individual, so it's £7 each or $10 each, I guess. £21 to get started, but you need to invite 3 people to really get the value out of that. That's a bit rubbish. There's no free version. There is a trial, but there's no free version. So that's pretty crap and a bit confusing. Didn't like it, really put me off. One banana. And finally, neurodivergent. It has pretty flexible styles. It works really, really well. You can change the look and feel of it. You can go from Kanban to list view. It's pretty decent. I didn't really like it and find a view that I liked, but I could appreciate objectively that it would work for many different people in many different styles. Overall, I really liked it. Pretty much heavy on the Excel format, which for me just wasn't good, didn't really like it. But overall, pretty good. 2 bananas. So there we are, we have a winner. It's almost a knockout punch to Trello. What was that, like 14, 15 bananas? To Trello's, what was it, 10, 11? Not looking good. Why am I using Trello? I use Trello because it suits my learning style, but Monday.com for feature set and many other things is very good, and it wouldn't take a lot of effort for them to supersede Trello for me if they just tweaked a couple of things. Overall, pretty good. So that was my hopefully quick-ish analysis. Let me know what you guys thought. Did I get some things right, some wrong? Do you agree, disagree? Let me know in the comments below, and if you haven't done already, please do subscribe. It really does help me on this journey and helps me keep making videos if you find value in them. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.